What is going on, everybody? I feel like I've been working on this video for a long time, so I hope you enjoy it. This is the top 10 most haunted places in the state of Oregon. Number 10, the Lafayette Pioneer Cemetery. Established in the 19th century, this cemetery is widely known as one of the most haunted places in Oregon. It is also a historically significant site, with the area's earliest pioneers being buried here. The most famous spirit is that of Lena Emus, who died by suicide in 1908. Visitors see her in period clothing, walking among the graves. She is also known to laugh, and her footsteps can often be heard. Another spirit, whose name has been forgotten, was a woman who was accused of being a witch. Her accusers beat and hanged her, and buried her somewhere unknown on the cemetery grounds. She is believed to be buried among the oldest graves, where people often feel a sense of dread, and some have even heard a female voice screaming, "Run home." Number 9. The Oregon Caves Chateau. The story of the Oregon Caves Chateau is a tragic one. A woman and her new husband were honeymooning at the chateau in the 1930s. One evening, the husband had stepped out of the room for some time. When he did not return, she went to look for him. She found him soon after, in a passionate embrace with a chambermaid. Distraught by this sight, she fled back to room 310. This is where the story varies, as some say her husband rushed up behind her and argued before, in his rage, he pushed her out of the window. But most say she was alone in the room, and in her anguish, she leapt out of the window to her death. This woman's name was Elizabeth, and she is said to still haunt the chateau to this day. She is often heard crying on the 3rd floor. She visits the kitchen often, where she drops items on the heads of chefs who dismiss her story as false. Number 8. The Lodge at Hot Lake Springs. The Lodge at Hot Lake Springs was built in 1864. It housed an entire town under one roof, including a blacksmith, post office, dance hall, barber shop, drugstore, and multiple bathhouses. But in the early 1900s, the building was bought by Dr. W.T. Fye, who renamed the building the Hot Lake Sanatorium and converted the 3rd floor into a hospital. The sanatorium closed soon after his death in 1931. Then in 1934, half of the building burned in a tragic fire. The building changed hands multiple times and was abandoned for 15 years until bought in 2003, when it was fully renovated back into a hotel. Many who have stayed here have reported screams and have even seen spirits. Some say the lodge is haunted by a gardener who died by suicide on the grounds. There is also a piano on the 2nd floor that is said to play on its own. Number 7. The Witch's Castle. Deep in the woods of Portland, Oregon, lies a location known as the Witch's Castle. While it's called a castle, it's really just the ruins of an old public restroom, originally built in the 1930s. The stone building was built to blend in with its surroundings, but over time, storms and floods ruined it. It was abandoned in the 1960s. However, this story is not about these ruins, it is about the land that they are on. In the mid-1800s, a man named Danford Balch settled in the area. After discovering his daughter had fallen in love with a hired man, Balch shot the man in a fit of rage. Balch was later arrested, tried, and was the first person legally executed in the state of Oregon. People say strange energy lingered in the area after that. The ruins slowly came to be known as the Witch's Castle, and stories started spreading about occult rituals, strange symbols, and shadowy figures gathering at night. Number 6. The Edgefield Hotel. Built in 1911, this building was originally the Multnomah County Poor Farm, housing thousands of homeless who seeked shelter and food in exchange for working the farm. Around the 1960s, it became a nursing home and an institution for mentally ill children. Eventually, the much-needed renovations on the building became too expensive, so the county decided to close its doors in 1982. It was left abandoned until the early 1990s, when it was bought and turned into the hotel we know today. However, during these renovations, workers found animal bones arranged in a pentagram in room 215. This led the new owners to perform a cleansing on the property, but the room still has strange events to this day, such as sudden cold bursts, flickering lights, and eerie whispers. And on the upper floors of the hotel, many swear they hear a woman singing a sad lullaby to a crying child. Number 5. The Oregon State Hospital. Constructed in 1883, originally known as the Oregon State Insane Asylum, it was supposed to be a place of healing, but like most institutions at the time, the treatments were harsh and sometimes even deadly. There was severe overcrowding and thousands died within the walls. Between 1883 and the 1970s, more than 5,000 patients were buried on the grounds, with most of them only given a numbered marker. And in 2004, construction workers made a disturbing discovery of 3,500 copper canisters, each containing the ashes of former patients. These remains were neglected and forgotten for decades. Visitors and staff report disembodied footsteps, doors slamming shut, cold spots without explanation, shadow figures, and whispers late at night. The Shanghai Tunnels. Beneath the streets of Portland, Oregon lies a hidden network of tunnels. In the 19th century, Portland was a booming port city, with ships docking constantly. The captains of these ships desperately needed crews, so the practice of shanghaiing was rampant in the city. Shanghaiing is when men are kidnapped, drugged, or knocked unconscious and delivered to ships bound for long voyages. And once they were out at sea, there was no escape for them. This is where the tunnels came into play. People were taken through these tunnels to avoid public eye and brought directly to the port. However, many of these tunnels were used for completely normal things, such as for storage, avoiding traffic, bad weather, and moving goods directly from ships to businesses. One of the most famous spirits of the tunnels is a woman in a black dress, who is seen at the end of corridors, then suddenly vanishes. Some believe she is the wife of one of the Shanghai victims. The sounds of chains are also often heard, but the most reported phenomenon is shadow people. One tour guide claims they saw a figure walk through a solid wall. Number 3. Pittock Mansion. Built in 1914 by newspaper magnate Henry Pittock and his wife Georgiana, this French Renaissance-style home was complete with the most advanced luxuries of the time. But while they imagined a happy life in their new home, Georgiana would tragically die just 4 years later, and Henry would follow 1 year after. There are many reports of paranormal activity today. Georgiana loved roses and life, and from time to time the unexplainable smell of roses will fill the home. Another strange event is a portrait of Henry Pittock, which seems to teleport from room to room. One of the most famous spirits is that of a young boy, who can be heard giggling and playing around the servants' areas, though his identity has remained a mystery. Number 2. The Wolf Creek Inn. Originally a simple stagecoach stop along the Applegate Trail, the Wolf Creek Inn has been in continuous use since 1883, with guests ranging from travelers on the trail to celebrities such as Jack London and Clark Gable. People who have stayed at the Wolf Creek Inn claim to hear footsteps in empty halls, disembodied voices, and a piano is said to often play on its own. The kitchen is a hotspot, with pans even being seen flying across the floor. Even more strange is reports of a vampire-like creature that haunts the grounds. It is described as a creature with fangs and what seems to be blood around its mouth. It has been seen both in the woods outside as well as inside the building, with one guest even claiming to have been bit by this creature. Number 1. The Grand Geyser Hotel. In the historic mining town of Baker City lies a relic of the past, the Grand Geyser Hotel. Built during the Oregon Gold Rush in 1889, the hotel was very luxurious for the time, containing a clock tower, stained glass ceilings, and even one of the earliest elevators west of the Mississippi. However, as much as it is luxurious, it is equally as haunted. One of the most seen being the Lady in Blue, who wears an elegant blue Victorian gown. She is seen gliding up or down the grand staircase only to vanish into thin air. One of the more creepy spirits is that of the headless chef, who is still searching for his missing head. According to folklore, he was a chef who met a tragic end when a dumbwaiter fell on him. Today, staff and visitors alike report pots flying, glasses levitating, and slamming doors in the kitchen area. Room 302 is also a hotspot, with guests reporting mysterious knocks, jewelry being moved around, and the eerie feeling of being watched. I hope you guys liked that video. The next video coming out is the Cryptids of Oregon, and at the end of that video, I'll reveal the next state for the Haunted series. If you enjoy this content, like the video and subscribe. Peace.